Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm glad you're here today. We're about to explore an important topic, understanding marital conflict and finding solutions. The title of our presentation is Harmony at Home. Over the next few minutes, we'll discuss common causes of conflicts, how to navigate them, and practical strategies to foster a peaceful and loving relationship. I look forward to sharing insights with you all. Let's get started. Conflict in marriage is not a sign of failure. In fact, it often indicates that two unique individuals are in the process of learning to become one. It's natural, and it's part of the journey. The goal isn't to eliminate all conflict entirely, because that's just not realistic. Instead, what really matters is how we navigate those conflicts. We want to handle them in a healthy, constructive way that honors God. Remember the key verse from Ephesians 4:2, that we are called to be humble, gentle, and patient with one another, bearing with love. That's the foundation for managing conflicts well. The visual here shows two different shapes coming together into a harmonious design, symbolizing how two distinct people can unite beautifully. And it's important to realize there are no perfect unions. Every marriage has its challenges, but with humility, patience, and love, we can grow stronger through them. That's the core message of today's presentation. Conflict isn't the end. It's a part of the process of becoming one. Let's talk about one of the most common reasons communication breaks down: poor listening. Often, instead of truly trying to understand what the other person is saying, we're just waiting for our turn to speak. This means we're not really listening. We're more focused on what we want to say next. Another key issue is making assumptions. We sometimes try to read minds or jump to conclusions without having all the facts. This can lead to misunderstandings that could have been avoided with better listening and clarity. Then there are harsh startups, beginning conversations with criticism or sarcasm. This kind of approach immediately puts the other person on the defensive and makes productive communication much harder. If you look at the visuals here, an icon of a crossed-out mouth and ear, or a tangled knot, they symbolize how communication can get tangled up when we're not listening properly or making assumptions. And the bottom line, you're not really listening when these issues happen, and that's often where the biggest breakdowns in understanding come from. Let's talk about solution 1, cultivating godly communication. The key here is to really focus on how we connect and communicate with others. First, listen to understand. As James 1:19 reminds us, everyone should be quick to listen and slow to speak. This means truly paying attention to what the other person is saying, not just waiting for our turn to talk. Next, use I statements. Instead of saying, "You always do this," try saying, "I feel hurt when." This helps keep the conversation respectful and focused on your feelings rather than assigning blame. Then seek clarity. When you're unsure what someone means, ask, "What I hear you saying is that right?" It shows you're engaged and genuinely want to understand. The key verse here is from Colossians 4:6. Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt. This reminds us to speak with kindness and wisdom, adding value to our interactions. Visually, picture a heart with sound waves or two people facing each other calmly, highlighting the importance of speaking life and listening with love. Remember, cultivating godly communication isn't just about talking. It's about speaking life and listening with love, reflecting God's grace in every conversation. Now let's talk about the second common reason for relationship dissatisfaction: unmet expectations. Often, these are unspoken rules, things like roles, finances, intimacy, or housework, that were never actually discussed. We might assume our partner knows what we want or expect, but without clear communication, misunderstandings happen. You might feel disappointed or let down when your spouse doesn't meet these hidden expectations. It's like having this mental checklist in your head that they're supposed to know about, but they never do. Another layer to this is cultural or family baggage, bringing different normals from your upbringing into the relationship. What feels natural or acceptable to one person might be very different for the other, and if these differences aren't addressed, they can lead to frustration. If you look at the visual here, a checklist with several items marked with a red X, It really highlights how these unmet expectations can pile up without us even realizing it. And often, we think, I thought you would. Fill in the blank, expecting our partner to intuitively understand what we need or want. Recognizing these unspoken expectations is key to addressing and avoiding disappointment, and it ties directly into understanding how communication shapes our relationship satisfaction. All right, let's talk about solution 2. Align expectations with grace. The key here is to be clear and intentional. First, make it explicit. Have honest conversations about what you both expect from each other. This helps prevent misunderstandings before they even happen. Next, practice flexibility. Life is unpredictable, and so are people. Be willing to adjust and create new expectations together as you grow and change. And of course, extend grace. Remember, your spouse is human. They can't read your mind. Giving each other grace means being patient and understanding when things aren't perfect. You'll notice the visual of two puzzle pieces fitting together perfectly. That's a great reminder that aligning expectations requires effort and intentionality, but it's worth it. Now, I want to emphasize the importance of talking instead of assuming. Don't let misunderstandings fester. Open up conversations. By doing this, you foster trust, connection, and a deeper understanding. Key ingredients for a healthy, grace-filled relationship. Let's talk about one of the common reasons for financial stress in relationships, which is often overlooked: different spending and saving habits. You see, when one partner is more of a spender and the other tends to be a saver, it can create a lot of tension. These contrasting approaches can lead to misunderstandings and disagreements about money management. Another major issue is debt and financial pressure. Bills, student loans, credit card debt, these can become overwhelming and cause significant stress, especially if you're not on the same page about how to handle them. And then there's the lack of a unified budget. Operating as two separate financial entities means there's no clear picture of your combined financial health. It's like trying to navigate a ship without a map, confusing and risky. As you can see here with the icon of a money bag with a stress crack or a chart showing rising debt, these visual cues remind us how financial strain can weigh heavily on a relationship. Ultimately, managing money well is about more than just numbers. It's about working together as a team. When financial stress arises, it's essential to address these issues openly, to avoid it turning into a bigger obstacle down the road. Let's talk about solution 3, become a financial team. The key here is working together as a team to manage your finances effectively. First, creating a budget together is essential. Be transparent about your income, your expenses, and your goals. Open communication helps everyone stay on the same page and work toward common objectives. Next, it's important to define roles. Decide who will manage what. Maybe one handles the bills, another tracks savings, but make sure to review these roles regularly. This keeps everyone accountable and ensures your system stays effective as your circumstances change. And above all, seek God first. Trust that He is your provider and practice contentment with what you have. Remember, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also, as Matthew 6:21 reminds us. The visual of two hands holding a small plant symbolizes growth and stewardship, reminding us that responsible management nurtures our resources and faith. Ultimately, this approach is about one mission, one budget, working together with purpose and trust to honor God in our finances. Now, let's talk about one of the common reasons relationships struggle: lack of appreciation and connection. You know, sometimes we just take each other for granted, failing to really acknowledge those everyday efforts that keep our lives running smoothly. It's easy to overlook the small things that our partner does, and over time, that can create a sense of emotional distance. And then there's neglecting intimacy, both emotional and physical. When we let that connection fade, it's like watering a plant and forgetting to give it sunlight. Eventually, it wilts. Another big factor is busyness. Work, kids, life. These can crowd out the time and energy we need to nurture our relationship. And when that happens, we might find ourselves in a situation where we're just physically near each other, but emotionally disconnected. You see the image here, right? Two people on their phones back to back, or a wilting flower. Those visuals really capture that sense of disconnection. That question, do you even see me? It's a powerful reminder of how important it is to truly notice and appreciate each other every day. Because without that, the relationship can start to feel like it's just going through the motions. Let's look at solution 4. Prioritize your partnership. The key idea here is to intentionally invest in your relationship each day. First, daily appreciation. It's about making it a habit to verbally thank your spouse for one thing every day. It might be something simple, like thanking them for their support or for making breakfast. These small words of gratitude can really strengthen your connection. Next, schedule date nights. Protect this time fiercely. Treat your date night as non-negotiable, a special time to reconnect and enjoy each other's company without distractions. Consistently setting aside this time keeps your relationship vibrant. Then, serve one another. Small acts of service, like doing a chore, bringing a cup of coffee, or offering a listening ear, can go a long way. These acts rebuild and reinforce your bond, showing love through action. And remember the key verse from 1 Peter 4:8. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. This reminds us that love requires effort, intentionality, and grace, especially in partnership. Visualize this as a couple laughing together, or a calendar with a heart on a specific date, symbolizing those special moments you create. Cherishing and nurturing your relationship daily is how you build a resilient, loving partnership that stands the test of time. When we look at all these solutions we've discussed, it's clear they're most effective when a marriage is built on a solid foundation of faith in Christ. When both spouses are committed to submitting to God, they share a common source of grace, forgiveness, and wisdom. This unity in Christ helps them navigate challenges together and grow stronger in their relationship. The verse from Psalm 127:1 reminds us that, unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. It emphasizes that without God's involvement, our efforts can fall apart. That's why having a house built on the rock, on a firm foundation of faith, is so crucial. The visual of a sturdy house on solid rock perfectly illustrates this idea. A strong, simple house on a solid base symbolizes stability and endurance, especially when it's grounded in God's truth. When we build our marriages on this foundation, we're creating something that can withstand the storms of life and last through everything. So remember, a marriage rooted in faith isn't just about individual belief. It's about both partners actively seeking God together, making Him the center of their home and their union. That's what truly makes a house built on the rock. As we come to the final slide, I want to leave you with some powerful thoughts and a clear call to action. First, choose love even when you don't feel it. Love is a choice, a daily commitment that can transform your relationship, especially during challenging times. Next, choose forgiveness because you've also been forgiven. Extending forgiveness is vital. It frees both you and your partner, allowing healing and growth to take place. And if you ever feel overwhelmed or stuck, don't hesitate to seek help, whether that's from a pastor, counselor, or trusted friend. Asking for help is actually a sign of strength, not weakness, and it shows your commitment to building a healthy, resilient marriage. I want to leave you with a beautiful verse from Colossians 3:14. Above all, clothe yourselves with love, which binds us all together in perfect harmony. This reminds us that love is the foundation that holds everything together in harmony. And look at this image, a couple walking together on a path, hand in hand. That's what a strong marriage looks like, walking together, supporting each other, and choosing love every day. Remember, your marriage is a covenant, something sacred and worth investing in. So I encourage you today, choose love, forgive freely, seek help when needed, and keep walking that path together with hope and trust.